Hey everyone, and welcome. So, if you've been feeling even just a little bit overwhelmed by the absolute explosion of artificial intelligence lately, well, you are in the exact right place. This explainer is all about making AI easier to understand, genuinely fun to play around with, and most importantly, something you can use with total confidence. We are creating a completely safe, welcoming, and 100% jargon-free zone today to explore how to write effective prompts. So get comfortable and let's demystify some of this crazy technology together.
Okay, let's take a quick look at our roadmap. First, we'll do a quick welcome to the lab. Then we'll jump into mastering your AI prompts and learn exactly what it means to co-create with AI. After that, we'll hit the absolute most important part of today's explainer, the golden rule. And finally, we'll wrap things up by building your confidence. No confusing tech speak today, just a totally straightforward path from start to finish. Let's do this.
Welcome to the lab, a jargon-free space to explore AI. Right off the bat, I want to make one thing crystal clear. You absolutely do not need to be a programmer, a data scientist, or some kind of AI expert to understand this material. Seriously, if you're just curious about AI, but you absolutely despise all the heavy jargon, we are totally on the same page. Actually, that's exactly why our guide today is Brekky, the Labrador. It's a bit of a playful double meaning, right? We're hanging out in a learning lab to experiment and tinker, but Brekky is also just this smart, friendly companion guiding us through the whole process. It's a great reminder that this is a supportive environment to learn practically, without feeling like we're slogging through a dry computer science textbook.
Moving right along to Section 2, Mastering Your AI Prompts. Getting hands-on with generative AI.
All right, this is where we leave the abstract, high-level theories behind and jump straight into highly practical territory. The focus here is incredibly specific. We've curated this explainer for the purely curious among us, keeping it beginner-friendly and completely free of that confusing tech speak I mentioned earlier. We're zooming in on everyday applications. Think about where you're already bumping into AI in your daily routine. Maybe you could use it to help draft a really tricky diplomatic email to a coworker, or just to brainstorm some fresh ideas for a weekend project. The point is, this is tailored specifically for real-world use that can actually impact your day-to-day life.
Which brings us to the main tool we use to interact with these systems. So, what exactly is prompting? Well, simply put, prompting is just how you talk to artificial intelligence tools to get a result. That's literally it. It's not complex computer coding, and you definitely don't need to learn a new programming language. It is at its core just a conversation. Think of it like giving clear, direct instructions to a super fast, highly capable assistant. Naturally, the better you communicate what you want, the better the results you're going to get back.
Section 3, Co-creating with AI. Iteration and practical tips.
So, once you wrap your head around the idea that a prompt is simply a conversation, the next logical step is realizing that it's almost never just a one-and-done command. Meta-prompting and iteration are about to become your best friends here. See, you are actively co-creating with these generative tools in this dynamic, back-and-forth flow. Iteration just means you try a prompt, check out the output, and then tweak your initial request. It's all about refinement. You ask for a draft, you read it over, and then you say, hey, make this a little more professional, or can you shorten this to exactly one paragraph? You're the one actively shaping the final product through these quick conversational tweaks.
And honestly, these tools are just fantastic. They can assist you with complex research, generate text and images totally out of thin air, predict outcomes based on data, and recommend some pretty brilliant solutions. It is shiny, it's incredibly impressive, and it really is fundamentally changing how we work. But, and this is a big but, to truly co-create with these platforms, we can't just get blinded by the shiny stuff. We have to understand not just what AI can do, but also its very real limitations.
Which brings us to the absolute most important part of our explainer today. Section 4, the golden rule, and exactly why human judgment matters. Here's where we shift our focus entirely from what the AI gets right to what it frequently gets wrong. We have to look at the very real flaws. AI tools often suffer from unconscious bias that's baked right into their training data. Then, there are some serious privacy concerns regarding what information you're actually sharing with them, not to mention the rapid spread of misinformation and just a general lack of factual accuracy. Sometimes the AI just flat out hallucinates and confidently tells you something completely false, or, it generates a picture of a person with 7 fingers. Walking through these limitations shows us exactly why we absolutely cannot blindly trust the machine.
And that leads us straight to the crucial concept of the human in the loop. This is the practice of making sure actual, living, breathing people review AI results, consider the real-world context, and decide what happens next. This is the core philosophy that has to guide our entire journey with this tech. It is the essential mindset you need when working with literally any type of AI tool. Because without you, the human in the loop, those limitations we just talked about, they can turn into major liabilities real quick.
It helps to think of it as a partnership. Side A is the AI's role, generating, predicting, and recommending those initial outputs. It does the heavy lifting of slapping together that very first draft. But side B is your role, evaluating, applying real-world context, and making the final decision. The machine generates, but you provide the vital evaluation. Because at the end of the day, you are the only one who actually knows your specific situation, your audience, and what's factually correct for your context.
Listen, if you take only one single thing away from this entire explainer today, please let it be this exact mantra. AI generates, you evaluate, you decide. Actually, I'm going to say that one more time because it is just that important. AI generates, you evaluate, you decide. The AI creates that initial output, sure, but you are the one doing the evaluating and you are the one making the final call. Never forget your essential role in this partnership.
Moving into our final section today, Section 5, Build Your Confidence, the ultimate goal of the lab.
Now that we've got a handle on how to write prompts, iterate, and apply our crucial human judgment, I want to focus entirely on empowering you. Let me just reassure you one last time. The objective here is not to turn you into an AI engineer. The goal is to help you become a confident, informed, and thoughtful user. Success doesn't mean learning how to write complex code or design software. Success just means feeling incredibly capable and responsible when you sit down at your computer, fire up one of these generative tools, and use it to make your everyday life just a little bit easier.
To summarize our whole journey today, from initial curiosity right through to responsible application, just keep our signature tagline in mind. It's broken down into 3 actionable steps. Step 1, explore AI. Step 2, build confidence. And Step 3, use it wisely. Those 3 steps really encapsulate everything we stand for here. We want you to stay curious, we want you to feel totally equipped to jump in, and we want you to apply these tools with absolute responsibility and care.
As we wrap things up, I want to leave you with one final, provocative thought. Knowing all of its incredible capabilities and keeping its very real limitations in mind, how will you apply your human judgment to use these new tools wisely today? Always remember the human-in-the-loop concept. Remember the immense power you have to evaluate and decide. Now, get out there and start experimenting responsibly. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I absolutely cannot wait to continue this learning journey with you next time.